Hi everyone, my name Dr. Abrhiem. I'm the professor in organization management. Today I'm going to cover in this video about corporate level strategy. This is corporate level strategy is concerning about horizontal integrations and vertical integrations, and also about outsourcing integrations. Because most of the times, so many organizations compete even in single industrial or multi-industrials to compete in the market, especially in the globals. So how to do this one? So each managers in each organization or firms, he want or she want to maximize the value of the company. Why to want to maximize the value of the company? Because want to satisfy the shareholders who invest the money in the organization, and at the same time the stockholders for the organization. To do this one, the manager has to formulate a strategy. And this one, it has to do with 4 things, how to formulate a strategy for any organization. It has to do with the products, it has to do with the technology, it has to do with the customer, and the 4th one, it has to do also with the competition, the competitors. All these 4 elements is very important for the managers how to formulate strategy in any organization to compete in the market. And all these principles, the goal is to reach the value creation for that organization. What I mean by the value creation activity for the organization is to differentiate that organization from another company. That means to sell something unique another organization doesn't sell it, or about low-cost leaderships. That means lower the cost structure of the organization. Some company they achieve one, sometimes company we see them achieve both of them, and that's how they compete in the market and achieve the competitive advantage, and they stay sustainable in the market to create some kind of profitability. So let's go to the subject what I meant in the beginning about what horizontal integration is mean. Horizontal integration is mean in the same industrial peoples. They do merging, they do acquiring another organization to bring something new products in the market. And this new products in the market, how I'm going to give you example about organization, how they do it in the horizontal integrations. In the airline industrial, for example, like in 2008, for example, like we see the big carriers like American Airline started how to compete with another like 5 more big established airlines. They notice about the travelers and the financial recessions started, increase for those organizations. And especially the fuel prices and the oil prices increased 35%. That's create a financial recession for that industrial. And that's what happened is decrease the travelers for those airlines. We found out the oils, who represent 35% of the fuel, is affect the price and started increasing. We see that's when it's happened in 2009. the merging start happening between this kind of industrial. 2009, we noticed that this Delta Airlines merging with Northwest. In 2010, we see United Airlines merging with Continentals. These kind of merging is happening. Why? Because they want to reach the best competitive advantage in the market and to become perhaps more customers so they can stay in the business because they are hurt financially. You see, when I talk about this one horizontal in the same market, same industrials. On the other hand, while we have in recessions, Southwest Airlines doing a good job. And it shows has almost in 2010 shows some kind of profit, $439 million. So back again is what the secret behind that one. It's not about any kind of secret or something. It's just about the structures, how you structure the organizations, and how you design your business models. Because the business model is very important, how to create value for your organizations. Because in the vertical, when the company expand their operation, this one, also in the verticals organizations, we see events. Now this is horizontals. Now if we move the verticals can expand their cooperation even backwards or forwards. So now we're shifting gears to vertical organization. What I mean by backwards, what I mean by forwards. So the verticals, we mean that expand either backward industrial that produce input in the company products, or forward that is distribute or selling something to the customer. Let me explain to you what backward integration is mean. Backward is like we go on something we have to do to the input. For example, we see like Ford Company. Ford Company, when want to do something about the electrical engines for their fuel efficiency in the markets, they think about it's good to build this kind of engine in-house or using the vendors or any kind of distributors to help them. They look at it both ways. The beginning, they think if we use the distributors or vendor, they're going to do it, or suppliers, probably they will hurt the organization because delay, or they can play with the prices. And the same thing, the suppliers, sometimes they think, I don't know, if we deal with this company, they change their mind, what's going to happen. So longer story short, the company invested in the input, the company. Start doing production in the iron, production in the aluminum. Also, we see them also in the computers, in the PC, and that's what adding more chips. All these things added to the input of the organization. So that's one is going backward integration. That's what we call backward integrations. Forward integrations meanings is giving something to the customers. Something is the suppliers to the, in the end, whatever the product is ended, we give it to the, in the end, the customers. We'll give you example for that one. For example, like we'll see McDonald's in 1990, forced for a lot of problems. Why? Because the market saturated with a lot of fast food restaurants. So the managers, back again what I said, they have to formulate strategy and they have to think what they have to do. So that's in 1990. by 2011, McDonald's has over 12,000 stores, over 110 countries, expand the business globally. When expand the business globally, we see that's what has to do also with formulating the strategy, how to control the operation, how to control the markets, and how to satisfy everything for the customer they need. And from that moment globally, and they have the control over all these things and give the customers the benefit, and their revenue shows a lot of profitability. So this one is how corporate level strategy compete in the market concerning horizontals and concerning vertical integrations. The third one also, beside that one, it's called strategic outsourcing. What outsourcing is the decision to allow one or more company to be performed by independent specialist company that focus all their skills and knowledge in just one kind of activity for that organization, so that organization will achieve better performance. I give you example also for that one, because when we bring some people from outsourcing, they doing the job for us, this one will lower our cost structure. When we lower our cost structures, on the other hand, we're going to increase our product differentiations. And the company, last time, is going to focus on long-term value for the organization, so it's to reach the competitive advantage. Picture something like, for example, human resources in any organization. If they have, for example, like 9 employees working in that any organization or firm. If we want to outsourcing people from outside to do the job, they come probably twice a week, 3 times a week. They do the job, for example, they do compensations, they do payrolls, they do retirements, any kind of activity for the HR needed. So the company, they don't need 9 full-time employees working in that organization. Probably they can live with 4 or 5 full-times, because those will affect their fixed cost for the organization. If those people, they come, they do it, and they leave. They are not tied too much with the organization as a full-time. They do it from outside. So now the organization is, what's happening is lower the cost structures. Now the 5 people who left in that organization, they can concentrate in training, developing employees, do more things for the organizations. We'll see this one is working a lot in so many organizations, and they achieve better profitability for the employees. So that's what the strategic outsourcing is important. And at the same time, in the corporate level strategy, sometimes you hear that is related diversification or unrelated diversification. I want to explain to you also how some kind of company also compete in the market. Related diversification is like a process of entering any new industrial to make what? A new products. That's a new product is going to be for our customers, put it in the market. So related diversification, it has to have shared resources, It has to have something about the product, bundling the products, or a transferring competency between the organization. It have also to do with leverage competency, and also it has to have to increase the performance of those organizations. So all these things is very important for related diversifications inside any organization. When we do this one, what I mean by competency, I mean by skills, the talent, the abilities. When we do this, any kind of related diversification organization, we going to drop the bureaucratic cost of the organization. Because the bureaucratic cost, when we do this one, is the cost of solving that any transactions happen between the organizations and the corporate office, and at the same time, the bureaucratic cost will cut also from the cost between the unit of the business, and also it has related with the corporate level peoples. So we cut the bureaucratic cost from the structures. I'm going to give you also example about what you mean by related diversification. Most of you, as you know, that is a clothing company, the one that does North Face, the Lee jeans, Wagner jeans, and Nautica, represented by a big corporation called VP corporations. These VP corporations in 2011, they do a good job in the market. They're thinking about to acquire, to purchase Timberland. Timberland is people, they sell the footwears and they sell the leathers for and they're doing good in the market, in the stock markets. So they think if they can, VP or corporation, purchase Timberlands, they can bring one good products in the markets by transferring competency, by adding the bundling all the price, so they can all kind of products, and they can come to people and they buy the coat, they can North Face, they can buy the shoes, all these kind of has to do with the waterproof leathers. That's what Timberland sell in the market. Did great jobs. It has the related diversification between that one company. Unrelated diversifications, what I mean by that one, that's mean corporate level strategy based on multi-business models that uses general organization competency to increase the performance of the business unit. In other words, related diversification is sharing the resources between the two companies. This does have the merging between them. Unrelated, they don't share the resources between them. They have no intention to transfer any kind of competency between them, but it's strengthening each unit, their performance from each unit from that organization. It's strengthening each unit and do better performance. We see, for example, Cisco, 3M, they use the benefits. Sometimes they use related diversification, or they can use unrelated diversification the way they do it. My conclusion from this subject about horizontals and verticals, integrations, and outsourcing, a startup is very important for any organization. It's about the design of the structure of the organization. If organization have a good design, what I mean by good design, it has tied up with organization structures, it has related also with strategic control, and also tied up with the culture of the organization. What I mean by the structures is the task the manager they give for the people who work in the structures, from the CEO to the vice president to the department marketing, inventory, accountings, and after that one goes all down. And we see the structure is very important for some organization. They change it time to time. The reason is one, because it's tied up with the mission of the organization, what they have to do. And why they change it? Back again, because it depends about the customer need, about the economy, about the technology. All these things is tied up together. Some, structure is good for 3 years. After 3 years, they have to do the mission they needed to fit that structure, because back again, the product is going to be changed, technology is going to be changed, customer needs is going to change, the competition. So everything tied up together with the design. Strategic control, it has to have about the incentives about rewarding program, about the money. It has tied up also with the motivations or behaviors of the people who work in the strategic control. And the third one is a feedback. The culture of the organization, it has to do also with the value, with the norms, with the attitude, with the belief of the organization. The culture is very important for any organization, because if you build a good culture and good structure, your organization will do much better. I will give you an example later on. So after the organization design, it has to do with the organization structures and strategic control and organization culture. All these things is going to be coordinated with what? With motivation for the employees. If the employees motivated by the rewarding, by the feedback, by the good structure, by the good culture, will achieve something better. That's one. It's going to be 4 things they're going to achieve. It's going to achieve quality, innovation, efficiency, and responsiveness to the customer. When we reach all these 4 things, it's going to lead for something else. It's going to lead to the value creation frontiers. And in that case, we make that organization will be differentiate that's another one, because it's reached all the way close to the value activity. And this one is even by low-cost leaderships, by the structures, or by the differentiations, or both of them. The example I wanted, this came up to my mind about the person who changed the structure and the culture is Ford Company, Michigan's Alan Mulally. Alan Mulally is CEO of the organization. We noticed that is in 2006, Ford Company lost almost like $13 billion, 2006. That's a big chunk of the money. So that's time when the CEO of the organizations, William Ford III, he said, I cannot do it anymore, the company, so they try to bring from outside CEO, say where they bring Alan Mulally. So Alan Mulally, what he did last time, he transformed Ford strategic things about concerning the structures and the culture. That's the transformation change he did in that organization. He built a good team in that organization. How he changed the structures? They have so big, tall hierarchy structure in the organization. Communication has been missing between the unit, because the big tall structures is even sometimes centralization or decentralization. To get the information, communication from the top to the bottom takes a while, and sometimes even the unit between them or the divisions or the functional, they don't communicate together. So we try to make it as flat as good, the structures in the organization. And you create a good culture. Good culture is by the team, by the motivations, by rewarding systems, by bringing value, believe, behaving the peoples. After that one, we see that, how they achieve the quality and responsive to the customer. And what we see after that one, within short period of time, 4 years, Ford achieve better profitability. Even the bonuses and the salary for Mr. Al-Malawi almost close to that $17 million. So it's a good, it shows how much good profit it has been achieved about changing the structures and the culture of the organizations. Organization design is very important because it has tied up with the value for the people who work in that one. And also it has to do something is leading with these kind of values, is leading for the better cost leaders structures, because cutting the bureaucratic cost and bring a good differentiation for the organization. So the managers formulate strategy, get better business models. The one is fit the organization they need it. And after that one, you see, after all these things, when reaching the responsiveness, quality, innovations, and responsiveness that customers achieve better value and the company reach the competitive advantage and make more profitability and stay in business. Thank you.